James Kerr, the founder at Indispensable Consulting, is a longtime management consultant and futurist, working to make a difference for businesses by helping leaders reshape the way work is done. His expertise includes vision storytelling, culture redesign, and the development and implementation of multifaceted change initiatives. He enjoys co creating new ideas and devising feasible solutions to broadly relevant problems while shape shifting. Nice word. Shape shifting them into opportunities for his clients. Uh, Jim, so nice to meet you online here. We were connected via our mutual friend and my mentor, John Baldoni. Very nice to meet you. I hope you're having a great day.
Yeah, no, Dave, it's great to be here too, and great to meet you. And yeah, John's a really good guy, great networker. So I'm glad he got us in touch.
I'm just going to jump in here. I've only had one other interview on this series where I've spent any significant amount of time talking to that guest about the subject of organizational culture. Culture has always been an ephemeral thing to me. In your experience, in what you've observing recently here, do you find that there's a new look or a new feel to organizational culture that's evolving right now, or is it kind of like the same old culture, but they've just bolted on a couple of like virtual things or something like that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you, the thing about culture is really behavior. So it's the way we actually operate and perform our work and work together as teams and so on. And it's about delivering obviously product and service to the customer. So your culture really determines the way folks behave within your organization. Now we get this crazy once in a century experience here, right? And you better hope your culture is good and strong because of all of these stresses that the pandemic's put on companies. But as far as shifting the culture because of the pandemic, I don't really think so. I think we're operating differently, but our values are the same. So from organization to organization, if they had good, strong, truth-telling type of behaviors, then they still do, whether they're virtual or in person. And if you're an organization that maybe bends the rules a little bit, well, guess what? You're still bending rules. You're just doing it virtually. So I don't really see the culture shift happening because of the pandemic, but I think the organizations that do the best are the ones that can actually claim that they've got good cultures, because those are the ones that are strong and have resiliency and things like that baked in.
Excellent. And I understand you've got a new book coming out called The Indispensable Book. If you don't mind, could you share us maybe 1 or 2 minutes on what the book is about?
Sure, I'd love to. Yeah, it's indispensable, and it's really a book about how to become the company that your customers can't live without. And in it, I provide sort of an agenda that a leadership team could follow to actually become indispensable in the marketplace. And it gets into things like, having the right kinds of leadership, having the right kinds of culture, um, having the right kinds of vision, and being able to articulate that vision in a compelling and exciting way so everyone's engaged and understands where you're trying to go and so forth. And I've sprinkled in there over 50 different business examples, many of them from my own practice. And, I'm trying to fortify the points that I'm making by showing how organizations are already doing some of this stuff.
Mhm.
And I think the unique or compelling part of the book, and why I think people might really, really like it, is it. I don't think anywhere else has anybody organized the agenda the way I have.
Mhm.
So it's the agenda that makes the difference. It's not that there's any earth-shattering, strategies in there,
Mhm.
but it's the combination of these things
Mhm.
that can make a company indispensable. And guess what? If you're weak on any one of them, you probably aren't indispensable.
Jim, I'm going to ask you the question I ask everybody, which is, what lessons have we learned during this moment of crazy high flux stuff? What lessons have we learned that we must not forget?
Well, it's a bit of a catchphrase, and it's one that it seemed that the media sort of glommed onto right away, and that's that notion of we're in it together. And man, are we. Someone gets infected with this crazy virus in China, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's the theory. And guess what? It spreads across the world.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's one of those things that I've been preaching to my clients. And when I went back, when I started to hear everyone talk about we're in it together, I went back to see, when did I first write about this?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've written, 5 books. Indispensable is my 6th book. I've got, you know, hundreds of articles out there that I've written over the years. And I'm like, when did I start talking about being in it together? And it was back in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been almost 20 years that I've been talking about that concept, and I use it much differently than a pandemic type,
Mm-hmm.
setting. But I was really trying to demonstrate, when we talk about in it together for business, that you want to create a vision, like I said earlier, that's so compelling that people can't help but want to be part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got to believe that they're in it together. They have to see themselves being successful within that paradigm, within that vision story. And that's how I was talking about it. And now, fast forward, the ABC News covers it, says, "Yeah, we're in it together,"
Mm-hmm.
and hashtag we're in it together.
Right.
But yeah, I would say that's one of the big takeaways from this
Mm-hmm.
whole experience, that we truly are, and we shouldn't forget that.
No, absolutely not. Jim, at the end of the day, you sound like an optimist. Are you an optimist?
I am, yes. Yeah, I think we have the opportunity to come out of this thing. In fact, I wrote a white paper on this early in the pandemic, this back in April or so, when I first released it. And the whole premise was, we have the opportunity to be the greatest generation 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
We always talked about the greatest generation as being the folks that lived sort of through World War II.
Yep.
Well, we're living through a war ourselves right now. And how we behave, back to culture, how we behave is going to determine how people look back at us. And we have the opportunity to do some good. And if we choose to do that, we just might well be the greatest generation 2.0.
Love it. Jim, it was so great to meet you face to face, and I look forward to perhaps reconnecting on other stuff. Have a great rest of the day.
Yes, you too, Deb. It was great. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.